The national job situation is bad and getting worse. The number of Gen Z grads who can't find a full-time job in their first year out of college has more than doubled from the previous generations. Probably related is the fact that the unemployment rate for these same grads is beyond double the overall rate. Everything is twice as bad. At the end of 1982, the unemployment rate rose to 10.8%, the highest since the Great Depression. So, for example, by 2015, when Back to the Future Part 2 takes place, only 16% of working factory production supervisors had college degrees, despite 67% of production supervisors' job postings asking for one. This phenomenon is known as degree inflation, or the shift from jobs that had been done just fine by people without diplomas, now all of a sudden requiring them. Over 50% of recent college grads are underemployed. Meanwhile, CEO pay has risen 1,460% since the late 70s. To Reagan, obviously, you can trace this back to Ronald Reagan, the actor. It wasn't all his fault, but during the 80s, when companies were focusing on a global market, the Reagan administration was also pushing higher education while actively defunding it. In 1983, they published A Nation at Risk, a report that claimed there was a rising tide of mediocrity among educated Americans, driving guidance counselors, parents, and policymakers to prioritize standardized testing and college prep curricula over trades. At that same time, trade education ended up with less money overall, which mainly affected low-income students and students with disabilities. Since 2019, immigrants have been responsible for 88% of America's labor force growth. Well, guess what? It turns out that the places we don't have enough trained employees, trade jobs, the service industry, healthcare, well, those are all jobs that are traditionally filled by immigrant populations.
Oh, they don't want to work. They're spoiled brats. They've grown up in a world where it's everyone gets a trophy generation.
Dude who created Barstool Sports gonna lecture people on work ethic? Fucking Theodore Rex wants to talk down to kids about work hours. They're depressed and they're broke. No, Whoopi, the reason they can't get a house isn't because they only want to work a few hours a day. It's because they can't find a fucking job and home prices have doubled in the last 20 years. Unions, pensions, affordable housing, all gone. Killed by a greatest generation fake cowboy and his boomer Gen X followers who now complain that young people don't want to work.